the primary source of the most important problems of misinformation have come from the federal government itself. The primary source of misinformation has been the federal government itself. And it has worked, it's used its power to manage the control, the spread of information in social media. It's used effectively propaganda techniques in order to destroy the reputations and careers of people who spoke up against, to try to correct these ideas of misinformation. So just to give you some sense of what they, a few, I could go on for quite a long time. Martin mentioned the idea that immunity occurs after you have disease. That is absolutely true. This is a coronavirus. It was really clear by spring 2020 from elegant studies of mechanism of immunity that was likely to be true in this case. We didn't know how long immunity would last. We didn't know exactly the mechanisms of it, but we knew from very early on in the pandemic that if you get COVID and recover, you would have pretty strong protection against both reinfection and then if you are reinfected, the severity of reinfection. During the pandemic, especially after the vaccines came available, public health agencies denied that. And in fact, on the basis of denying that, put in place very destructive vaccine mandates that led to the loss of jobs and careers of many people, and created a counter reaction that has led to the undermining of I think the consensus that most of the population had that vaccines were a really good idea. And we're seeing the fruits of that in the resurgence of polio, reductions in childhood vaccination rates, which I think are tremendously damaging. A second one. Remember, early in the pandemic, people talked about how masks weren't particularly effective in controlling spread of a highly infectious respiratory disease. Even Dr. Fauci said that at one point, I think in February. That was reflecting the consensus based on dozen or more randomized studies, good randomized studies with the flu, where mask mandates and large-scale masking in populations did not actually control the spread of the flu.